It's graduation season, and with that, my sister's getting kicked off my mother's mobile plan. What that means for her is she's switching to Mint Mobile because when you're a college student, you don't have a fat wallet.
She's actually pretty lucky, though, about getting over to Mint Mobile because of the savings and the quality of wireless service that Mint Mobile provides.
Say bye-bye to overpriced wireless plans with jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue.
All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk, text, and delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along because if you're like me, you've had it since 2007.
I love that we can carry our phone number. This is going to make me seriously want to ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. That is ridiculous.
So this year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/booktalk. That's mintmobile.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month, 5 GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for the first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. No matter how full my closet gets, I swear I have nothing that I want to wear, which is why I'm super grateful for Armoire because with their clothing rental membership, I get to have access to high quality, unique brands tailored just for me. All I had to do was take a 5-minute style quiz, and it was scary accurate with how much they knew my style. And by some kind of magic, it was delivered at my door within 2 days. If I want to try something new or swap out styles, I just send it. No laundry required. Best thing. Armoire is great for so many reasons. It can help define your personal style. It's super spot on. And also it's sustainable because I don't have to feel bad about if I wear an outfit one time and I just want to try something new. I can rent things, try them out, and keep swapping and not have to worry about waste. Plus, you're always going to have something to wear without hassle or clutter in your closet, which is what I really relate to. And no matter what occasion you have, whether it's a date or a work conference or a black tie event, you'll be the best dressed person in the room without even stepping a foot into the fitting room. This is fantastic because I've literally bought an entire outfit before just to go to one party. Armoire can also help if your body is changing, whether that's a fitness journey or during pregnancy. I know I've recommended this to a lot of the new moms that I know in my life, because your body's changing and you want to feel great and amazing. And one of my favorite things is that Armoire is women owned and led. They even spotlight women owned designers on their website. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That is up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/booktalk. That's Armoire, ARMOIRE.style/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get 50% off your first month.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jac and Amy, your besties with a literary podcast that deep dives into your favorite novels. We're currently in the middle of our spring book club, but today we're taking a break to talk to Gabriel Michael. Gabriel is an actor, director, singer-songwriter, best known for his performance of Xadon Riorson in Graphic Audio's production of Fourth Wing, as well as Lucien Van Serra in Graphic Audio's production of A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, welcome back to the podcast, Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy that you're here.
We didn't really prepare any questions. We were just so excited to have you back as a return guest and to talk about what has happened with your career since the last time we spoke to you.
Thank you. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
So you rocked our world when you were here last time. Like, because you we were talking to the cast of A Court of
Graphic
Thorns
audio.
and Roses, Graphic Audio's Court of Thorns and Roses, and Melody and the director and the actor who plays Rhysand were both
Anthony.
like, yeah, it was like, you have to talk to Gabriel. And we're like, all right. And we had like such a intense opinion, some might say, of Lucian. And then we talked to you, and no one has humbled us as quickly as you in the best way possible.
Well, I always. You can't judge the characters that you play. If you judge them too harshly, you'll question all their decisions, and then that uncertainty will make it into the tape. And so I wasn't trying to humble you, but I'm happy that you took a new perspective on him. There's so many people who have reached out to me after listening to your podcast.
Yay!
That said that they see Lucian in a whole different light as well. So it really had a trickle-down effect.
Oh,
That's
yay.
amazing. Yeah, we got that feedback as well of like, oh, that interview. First of all, they loved you. And then he changed my opinion about Lucian. And I'm glad that they took the time to reach out to you directly as well to communicate that.
Yeah,
They sure did.
because like just like the thought that you put behind him and just the consideration, and it's, when I say humbled me, like that's what I want in life. Like I want people to kind of like put me, what does that say about me? We're not going to move into that. I want people to kind of be like, change my opinion and do it in a way that makes sense, and that like, you just show compassion and understanding for a character that means a lot, from a book series that means a lot to everyone. And then so I can't wait to like pick your brain, because your career has absolutely blown up, and now you are the voice of the shadow daddy of the internet, Xadon.
Yes, I am. I'm grinning so big right now because I'm excited just to catch you up and dive in. So ask me anything.
Well, first, I would like to recap everyone, like, on how we got connected with you. Like, I'd want to, because you were at Romantasy Con, and
Yes.
I just want to say that, like, the posse, the group of women that were around you the entire time, like, at one point we were like, let's go swing by his table. Nope, there's a line out the door for him.
Let's be clear. We went into the ballroom in which Gabriel's table was situated. There's this long line of people who want to talk to Gabriel, and we just kind of circle like vultures around the ballroom, like, it's Gabriel. We're so excited.
Oh
But
my goodness.
can we talk to him?
I know.
Will he recognize us?
And then it wasn't until the last day, because you kept going to events, and we were, we were in the same events, and we could like see you. And literally the entire weekend, I was like, I think maybe I'll slide in when he's not surrounded by people. And the answer to that is that you were never not surrounded by people.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, it was like we were at the last event, the masquerade night, and you were at the bar. Like, Amy can contest to this. Like, the entire night I was like watching you. I'm like all right, and now, and then I like ditched her so fast, and I went straight in, and then I was like, hi, do you remember us? And then you were just the sweetest human being in the whole wide world. But I wanted to give you the background of like the level of like
Stalker.
spy. Yes. Stalker, spy, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
No, I really appreciate this perspective because, I was until the masquerade ball. In my head, I'm in work mode. So when I saw that, I really didn't get to notice the long line that was wrapped around my booth. I had an assistant with me, Tabitha Walters, who also has a podcast, we worked like a well-oiled machine. She would kind of stop or control the flow of traffic and then send someone to me one at a time. And by the time they get to me, that's all I see. I only see that person who's in front of me, and I invited them to sit down across from me. Kaya was next to me in the booth, and she said, and he was like, Gabriel was holding court. It did feel that way. And I was talking to every person one-on-one, and it wasn't until maybe the last hour when we got called for time, I look up and I'm like, wow, this is a whole event. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, it's a very humbling experience. It doesn't feel like it's all for you, It feels separate from you at a moment sometimes. And so it's really when I get to go back and look at the pictures and hear the stories is when I kind of get to take in something as big as that, really get to take it in. And you two, I am so happy we got to talk because we met again right there at the con. We ran into each other right there during the masquerade. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, the Fantasy Podcast girls, they were so amazing, and they lent us, unbeknownst to us, they had lent us members of their team to kind of like escort us around, almost like mini security.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was super, super nice because we didn't have to be me, Torian Brackett, and Kaya Freites, the talent. We didn't have to be mean or feel rushed. We got to just kind of smile and have someone else do that job.
Yeah.
But if I have met someone before, like you two, I definitely want to stop. So there was a moment when I had to turn to one of the assistants and say, hey, like, I know them. I want to actually stop. They're like,
You were very kind. It was one of those where I was like, he knows us. I swear. Like,
I loved it. It was incredible. You know, the role of Xadon Riorson has really done a lot for me.
it is. So can you tell us about that? Like, how did that come about? Because, you know, I understand, at least when it came to ACOTAR, Sarah had a bit of a say, you know, of going on there. Do you know how much of a say that Rebecca had? You know, I have no doubt that Graphic Audio wanted you back because you're fantastic. So how did that process? Did you have to audition? Did they know exactly they wanted you?
Yes, I had just gotten back from Hawaii in 2023, and while I was there, I actually had a series of graphic auditions come in, and I could have just waited till I got home, but I was so OCD. I went and got a studio in, I rented out a studio in Hawaii, in Honolulu, and did a series of auditions. And one was for Murderbot, which is a novella that's really popular, for the lead character. I didn't get it. And there was another audition as well I can't remember that I didn't get. And I was like, okay, well, we had a fun vacation. And then about a week after I got back, Scott McCormick, our director, he was like, hey, Gabriel, there is an audition for a really big role in a series. We would love for you to audition. And I auditioned. I didn't get a hyperlink like I got with Lucian. All I got was a block of text, which ended up being Xadon's narration at the end of the first book.
Mm.
And particularly, like, right when he leaves Violet and he's talking to Bodhi, and then it's just kind of musing about Violet for about a page and a half. That was all the audition was. And what they said, they were just like, kid you not, I almost want to pull it up. Can I do this?
Yes, you can.
Hold on. I'm going to see. Edit around this if it takes too long. Okay, so Scott.
No, do it. It's fine.
Audition.
Worth it. We all get to take a sip of water then.
Yes. Okay. It says, I would love for you to submit a sample of you narrating for an upcoming series. The role is a late 20s male in a fantasy series. You would have a major role in the first book and then narrate sections as the series moves forward. Let me know if you have any questions. I normally don't read these things, but here we go.
Oh.
And then it says, we need approval from the author, but I'd be very pleased to work with you. And then they sent the text. I responded, and I let them know. I was like, can I get some more context? He said, yes, a little extra direction for the narration. This is all I got. Think alpha male who is used to getting what he wants.
Okay.
I don't know. Pirate? I don't know.
Like, and so I'm thinking like, okay. But it's Xadon's narration, which while Xadon is that, he is an alpha male who gets what he wants.
Yeah.
That is a very emotional section of the story. And it's not necessarily the most cocky, like douchebaggy type of like section. And I was like, that's what he asked for though. So I'm just like, Violet this and Violet that. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm sounding so mean, like I'm getting what I want. And then I hit up my friend Izzy Steele, who's an actress, but she also knows this space very well. And I was just like, look, who is this? Do you know this text? And she's like, Gabriel, this is Xadon freaking Riorson. I was like, cool, girl. Like, who's that? And she was like, Gabe.
That's a cool name.
That's awesome. What I thought. I'm like, cool. And all I know is that he's an alpha male. And then I sent the audition, and I was worried at first because I was just like, sorry guys, this is such a long story.
No, we had you on that. We were having you here to tell us the story.
Okay. I then was worried because I was like, I hadn't read the story yet, but I did know that if he is a character that everyone loved, there had to be something so three-dimensional about him. Yeah. And I was worried that my audition wasn't three-dimensional. And that wasn't the fault of Scott, who gave me those specs. It's your job as the voice actor to take a comment like that and not let it completely inform the performance. You take it with a grain of salt and you pepper it in. And I felt like I don't know if I had accomplished that task. So for weeks and weeks and weeks, now it's mounting the anticipation. Now I really want this role. Now I know more about him.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, I got the email that I was chosen. I can't remember. I did know specifically Sarah Maas said, GM, Gabriel Michael, is perfect for Lucian. I don't know what the conversation was about my Xadon.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, And I hope that she signed off on it because I took it so very seriously and I jumped up and down and celebrated a lot. You know, the other day, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, it was Xadon's birthday and she had reposted one of the fans was, I think they were kind of drawing a mug and she had posted that song Ordinary that everyone's been posting. Yeah. And it had Xadon's declaration in Onyx Storm, Iron Flame.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time I had ever seen her post like my audio. And I mean, I kind of like, I was starstruck. It was incredible.
She liked one of our stories one time and I was like, oh God. So there's lore with us and Rebecca Yarros that I will always repeat. She forever ago, before Fourth Wing completely blew up, right? We had an interview booked with her and all of a sudden she really blew up and she was like, and this is right before Iron Flame came out. Mm-hmm. And then like right before, and we had this interview booked like for months, right? And then like literally right before her agent was like, sorry, she can't make it. Rebecca obviously had nothing to do with it. This is completely her agent. But in my mind, like Rebecca has like ghosted me. So when she liked our story, I'm like, damn it, why did my story not say, Rebecca, you were supposed to be on our podcast, but your person rescheduled and they haven't reached out to reschedule again.
You know, I can say like, gosh, I mean, the craze of her series just completely, I'm sure it's overtaken so many parts of her life, but I also feel like she's done a really good job. I feel like at trying to have normal. You know, and that's not always the case, not just with authors, but with actors or anyone in entertainment. That's why I look at this all as entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not easy to stay grounded. And I feel like she does a really, really good job at trying to stay grounded and be a normal person.
We went to one of her speaking events and that was like our first thing that we said too, was like, she's so grounded. But like you said something of there's just so much love and hype and so people are so passionate about the series. How much did you know about that? I mean, like you said, your friend kind of gave you the heads up about, hey, this is like Xadon. People love Xadon. And you must have known going into it that you had to really take care of him in a way, you know?
Yeah, for sure. There's a difference between like Lucien and Xadon. You know, for Lucien, that was also another moment where I had to ask my sister who this person was and she freaked out. So I knew it was a big deal. Even if I wasn't like the male MC in ACOTAR, I knew it was a big deal. But I also was so early on in my journey as a voice actor, I was just like, I just hope I'm good, period. I had no idea that I was going to get the favorable response I got. With Xadon now it's different. Like you would love to I would love to say that I just went in there and did my thing and boom. But like, no, I thought about the fans a lot. For the most part, it was good. But there were times when I thought about the fans and their opinions, both before the audio came out and after. That put a lot of pressure on me. I had never felt I've played some big roles in my career, whether it's theater or film, like short films in here and there. But this was different. This was really, felt like this was like my Edward Jacob Twilight moment.
Truly, though.
And I didn't want to get him wrong. And I feel like as I was recording him through part 1 and part 2 of graphics versions for the first 2 books, I really just got to see just how big of a character this is, how much he means to so many people. I mean, I can get emotional about it. The amount of fans that reach out to me with emotional stories about Xadon, about my performance as Xadon. These were things that were not necessarily coming to me off of my roles in other graphic productions or even Lucien. I feel like early on, I thought I knew, I got to take care of him, but it really didn't it got deeper with each book. Just when I think I got this, I'm locked in, it changes. Next week, I record for part 2 of Onyx Storm. And even then, at this point, I feel like, yes, I know who this character is, but I'm still going to spend my entire weekend with my study guides doing a deep dive just to make sure I mine out of him whatever is there. Because see, fans they'll talk about the moments that are really impactful and they're supposed to be, but they will also reach out to you about the subtlest of deliveries and the most simplest of lines that really to them spoke worlds. And so when you know that that's on your shoulders, if you can find a way to let it give you wings as opposed to kind of weigh you down with the gravity of that, then you know you're really in a good spot. And I think I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone who could mentally get there, it would be you. And I have no doubt about that, like, you know, not just the time and consideration, but the way you think about characters is totally different and unique than the way that I've talked about other actors, you know, voice actors, film actors, you know, whatever. I mean, like the way I've talked to other actors, like it's just a very unique approach to how you think about them.
That means so much to me. That's a high compliment. Thank you.
This is great because when we did an analysis of We've done Fourth Wing. We do like shorter analysis of these books. We didn't go as in depth as we did with ACOTAR, but Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. The common denominator here is that Amy won't let me date Xadon. That's each time she'll come back and be like, no, Jack, like this, you can't go for someone like a Xadon. And I'm here, Gabriel. I need you to help me prove to Amy that Xadon is a good guy.
So basically change my mind about Xadon. I think that he has noble intentions. He's the kind of person that the ends justify the means, and those means aren't always the best means.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. I will say we have an FMC in Violet who will also, those same things could possibly be true, especially as it goes on and she gathers her agency. I think why Jack should be able to date Xadon, he has a line in Iron Flame where he says, you have to find your footing again, Violet. I can't do it for you. I like it because he's a typical strong man who wants to save the day, solve all the problems. But yet he also acknowledges there are things within you that I can't figure out for you. You have to do it. And I feel like Xadon's not just like a sexy, rough guy. He's not just another version of a Rhysand. By the way, we love Rhysand.
Yeah.
To me, he really is just so true and blunt. I love his bluntness, the roughness of him. I like it. I don't find it to be overly broody or overly angsty. Or when it is angsty, it's perfectly angsty because he's 22, 23, 24. I think he's a character that will not tell you the sweet things you want to hear, but will tell you the truth, relentlessly tell you the truth. And I find that to be, at this point in my journey with him, both as someone who plays him, but I also have these out-of-body experiences where I listen to my audio sometimes, or I catch it unawares playing from someone else's TikTok, and I am taken. And what I find myself taken by him the most is just a roughness that feels so gentle, that feels so safe. Mm-hmm. And both in the sound of his voice, of course, because that's what I'm bringing to the table. But just everything with him. He's not a perfect person. He holds secrets, of course, but I don't know. I think if Jack ended up with Xadon, Jack would be in good hands.
My feelings would be hurt so fast also. So maybe that's I have something that, like, because I feel like talking to you is almost like in many ways like talking to Xadon, because you get to like break down and understand his brain, and at least like the way that you get to approach him. And I think that one of the things that makes Xadon is his love for Violet, right? And he is that definition in BOOKTALK of like, I would let the world burn to save you, right? And that's a very Xadon thing, right? And there's many times where he was like, I'll let this all burn, whatever, I'll save you. At the same time, he has all these tattoos on his back for all the kids that he has to save and are his responsibility. Scars, yes. The tattoos, the different ways of getting those on. And it's like it's his responsibility. So I feel like so many times he has conflicting thoughts and actions where, one might read it and just be like, you're super inconsistent. But I feel like there's more to that. So how did you go about playing that and processing that, where it's like, these are two very different approaches to his own moral code?
Well, you approach the work differently for every different IP, every title. And for this one, I feel like I almost had to do like a storyboard, and I had to map out his journey. Both his journey within the book, but also his journey. This is just something I do. Mm-hmm. His journey as how I knew it would be absorbed through listeners, because graphic audio splits things up into part 1 and part 2. Knowing that we really weren't going to get into any type of romance in the first installment of audio that you all were able to hear, which was graphic audio's part 1 of Fourth Wing. Knowing you weren't going to get any romance there, I ignored the conflicting things. I didn't try to reconcile with them. I made him honestly what Scott told me to make him in that audition. Alpha male, walked around like he owned the place. Someone said I sounded like Seto Kaiba. Don't know if it was a compliment, but I definitely was giving Seto Kaiba. And I wanted to go all the way in that direction. I think it's important that like characters that are beloved, that we all love, whether they're sexy or this or whatnot, it is so important that we play their edges, because we know the story will smooth it out. You know they will. We know Xadon's gonna have moments where he's sweet. There's gonna be moments where he says, I love you. Like, we already know how a romantasy book goes. So let's dig into the edges. So I actually kind of had to not juggle two kind of opposing forces. I got to just lean all the way in one direction. Now, Now where we are in the story, now that he is in love with Violet, we do know how much he means to her. I do kind of have to kind of walk that fine line. And I think for me, the draw, I'm saying a lot here, but the draw of Xadon, let's go off of Rebecca Yarros and the clue she's given us. She just said that his birthday was a couple weeks ago. So that means Xadon is an Aries. Well, what's really great about Aries is, unlike some of the other signs, where there's a lot of headiness going on up there. There's a lot of hidden meanings behind everything. Besides the secrets that he has to keep, specifically politically because of his position, he is a character that is so raw and in the moment.
We'll be right back. Jac, when's the last time you went to the doctor? Because you are notorious for avoiding it.
I will find every excuse in the book, like I'm too busy. But for the first time ever, I used Zocdoc, and I was in the very next day for my dermatologist appointment. It was so easy and absolutely incredible how I was able to put in my insurance information, and they showed all of the doctors that were within network and their availabilities. And I've never been able to go to a doctor the next day.
I am so jealous. It takes 4 months for me to see my dermatologist.
Well, not with Zocdoc. Now you can find someone who's in your area.
Zocdoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment.
We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more, like dermatologists.
You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients.
Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. It was so easy.
Appointments made through Zocdoc also happen fast, and if you're like Jac, it's the next day. Other appointments typically take within just 24 to 72 hours of booking.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to Zocdoc.com/BOOKTALK to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/BOOKTALK. BOOKTALK. Zocdoc.com/BOOKTALK. As most people can guess, commuting in LA sucks. And so I've started taking the train. And the best thing about that is I get to read my romance books on the go.
And if you're like me and you're not commuting, you like to stay up till 2 a.m. reading Galatea, trying to get one more chapter.
Galatea is a reading app where anyone craving a little me time can dive into a library of romance stories that leave you feeling recharged and fulfilled.
There are over 1,000 bestsellers to choose from, and if you can't figure out what you want, they have Shifter Romance, Bad Boy Billionaire, Forbidden Love, Werewolf Alpha, Slow Burn Fantasy, Teen Drama, and so much more.
Galatea is home to original series and standalone stories with an exclusive catalog of best-selling authors, with new chapters dropping daily, so there is always something new to explore.
Don't worry, you're not going to be alone. Over 30 million people have fallen in love with reading on Galatea. Join now to indulge in stories that make you feel like yourself again.
Right now, Galatea is offering our listeners an extra 25% off on top of an already irresistibly affordable subscription when you go to Galatea.com/BookTalk.
That's GALATEA.com/BOOKTALK to indulge in unlimited stories for even less.
That's Galatea.com/BookTalk.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss.
Oof, like wind in your hair carefree.
Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree.
Yes.
Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree.
He's on a roll now.
Spit toothpaste on the faucet.
You got it. You got it.
Peanut butter on the light switch.
Oh, spritz, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
Mentioned Yellow Jackets. There's a quote in season 3 where one of the characters says, "We were so alive in that place, we lost our ability for self-reflection." And I feel like Xadon, my approach to him is so alive. He's not like other characters who are endlessly in their alone time writing in their journals about their self-deprecation or their loneliness. He feels these things. He feels them profoundly, but he's not the type of person to really stop living in order to feel those things. And I feel like that's important because Gabriel is the opposite of that. I'm going to think about things incessantly before even a word comes out of my mouth. When I'm working, when I'm talking to someone I really love and care about, I want to make sure it's perfect. And he allows me, both as the actor but as the person, to remember you need to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Live in the moment. Don't live in the past. Xadon's got a very storied past with those scars, but he's a character who's capturing our attentions here and now. And so I try to bring that immediacy to him.
That makes total sense because it's almost where whatever the situation is, whether the situation requires helping Violet or the situation requires helping his people, that's what he brings to each moment. So for someone to be able to, who has to do both, he almost has to live in the moment. Otherwise, he will get pulled in each direction. And you kind of see that in Onyx Storm, honestly, is that be pull in both directions of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to help everyone here. So I guess once again, you nailed it, man. Like that makes total sense. Like he is very much a live in the now.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that too because I've always viewed Xadon as extremely selfish. A person who is naturally selfish, who is forced into responsibility, or vice versa. A person
I agree.
who is naturally responsible, but we're seeing him at his most selfish time. And I can see how someone who lives in the moment and who is like, I'm not going to cross the bridge until the bridge comes to me, is going to come across as selfish because I'm assuming premeditation, where maybe there is no premeditation.
Yeah. I look at it like, okay, I'm always crazy with my metaphors, but it's like a good director one time told me, don't get caught. They were coaching me through narration. But as the purposes for this conversation, it's so tempting to go in one direction and you're correct. You know you're collecting these spoils and these rewards and you want to turn around and stop and open up the bag and be like, how much is in there? But if you just keep going forward and don't really truly stop until you really have something of substance, some abundance, it's so much more worth it. So when it comes to his scars and stopping to really have to reflect, the plot makes him have to do so. I mean, it pulls him in many directions, but the plot makes him have to do these things. And so the more I bring that forward energy as Xadon and keep going forward, the moments where I am literally forced to stop, forced to say, I love you, and these are the reasons I love you, forced to really, really, really pour out his heart, it feels so earned because almost like that those repressed memories, those repressed emotions, they don't feel angsty anymore. They feel so alive because you've earned the space to air them out because of the contrast, because that forward action of going forward, and now it's like I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to hide. It's just me and a Violet here in this room, and I have to tell her. And I feel like in order to make that sing, you need the avoidance. You need the masking of emotions. You need I'm willing to look like a dick. I'm willing to look selfish first, so that's how I look at it.
I mean, it's so spot on. And especially the way that, we're kind of discussing him here and the way that you're bringing to light, it makes sense that he would have these reactions, especially when you think about Violet, right? And how she is, they keep saying heart of the writer, mind of a scribe. What are scribes if not like overthinkers? And one of my most interesting points, because the first time I read Iron Flame or Fourth Wing, I listened to it. And then the second time I read it, and I didn't realize how much was actually in her head versus what she was actually saying. Now, over time, I think that Violet herself starts to become more comfortable with speaking. And it's kind of funny where you have Violet, who is like so in her head, plotting, okay, who am I poisoning this week? And then you have Xadon, who is like, I have to survive day by day. I have to keep all these kids alive. I have to do all these things. And when the two meet, they have to bring out the different sides of each other, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you go into Iron Flame, it's very role reversal there too.
It is. It definitely is. I love the reversing of roles.
Yeah.
You get that trope in books, but it works lovely here. It just really does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, God, I wish you had if you had insight into what happens after Onyx Storm, which of course, You don't, or do you? Blink twice. I can't see you. You're off camera.
Oh, I say I wish I did, but then I'm like, no, I don't, because while I would take that secret to the grave until the book was out, just the thought that I had such powerful information at my fingertips would be crazy.
Too powerful. It'd be too powerful. No one would believe you.
I'll tell you what, though, like, I have never, I'm going to say this on air. I was so insanely jealous for Xadon reading Onyx Storm because I didn't know where it was going to go. And I've never had this experience before. I've had experiences in books where I'm worried about the fate of a character and I'm like, what's going on? Never reading a romance or romantasy book have I ever needed to skip hundreds of pages to the very end just to make sure, like, when Dane was like flirting around with Violet, I was like, I thought we ended this. And I was and it's just like, Tori Brackett's such a good guy, but I was getting mad. He plays Dane in the graphics version, but I was like, I had to know. Like, I was going crazy out of my mind. I was getting really emotional. I've never felt this way about a character.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that, like, he lives within me as like a familiar so much, a shadow of a second part of me that
you're like defensive of him. You're like, what the fuck? Like, who's this ex-boyfriend? This like prince ex-boyfriend?
Very, very, especially because like after Tamlin, I am so terrified of that happening to any MC that I play in this world. I think we all are a little traumatized after the Tamlin switcheroo. Brilliant, Sarah.
But like, we're all scarred.
Yeah.
Scarred. I was like, don't touch him. Like, leave him alone.
Let him just like go and become Venom on his own. If anyone's listening to this, if we spoil, you have to have listened to Onyx, like read Onyx Storm. I can't help you guys here.
Okay, so we'll say spoiler.
I know. After I said the spoiler, I can edit it up top. That's fine. Yeah, it's everything he does makes sense in Rebecca's writing. There's nothing that has been grotesquely done that I feel like come on, like Xadon wouldn't have done that. And you know, when the whole Tamlin reveal happened, there was a lot of people, because I was in the fandom right before Mist and Fury came out, so I remember people being like very upset about Tamlin, you know, you made him evil. And it's like, no, he was actually there all the time. So there's a lot of debate there. But I feel like, you know, you have each plot point and each time I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. Even at the very end, even him turning Venom makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the very end of him being like, oh, well, off to like go full-time Venom. I'm sure there's like more things behind it. He's probably like going undercover agent style, bringing them down.
There is such, yes, like, because we all want to know like this Venom subplot, which is a major plot now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Book 4, surely people are all wondering, is this where this is going to crash land, like fully crash land, and they really have to deal with it? I think a lot of people thought that they were going to deal with that in a much more raise the stakes type of way in this title at the beginning.
Yeah.
Onyx Storm. But really, it seems like it's going to be the next one where those consequences are really felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Xadon is too powerful to be controlled.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that as a blanket statement will make for not as exciting as a plot. We want to see the push and pull. And I'm sure we're going to see that to an extent. But I really, truly believe, without having any knowledge of what's being written, that Xadon is too powerful to be controlled.
I agree. However, you know, with the end of Onyx Storm, it's clear he's developed the contingency plan. And when you've developed the contingency plan, have you already like signaled your defeat? And if he's already, his own worst enemy is himself. And if he feels defeated, is he essentially cutting himself at the knees with his power?
Now, that's a really good question, because I feel like while I said what I just said, there's a ton of foreboding, foreshadowing with his decision. Like, what's in his head? What is his plan? What is it? I feel like Xadon's one of those people where, because Violet exists now in his world, he will never stop fighting. Of course, for her, but to also give her what she wants, which is him alive. I think he will never stop that. But it's like a Frodo moment, though. He would be the one to throw that ring into the fire. But all of the allies, anyone who could be around him, they're all gone. They're all far away. Yeah. It's him staring that mountain right in the face of it, to where everyone else would think from that perspective, or he's lost. He's gone. I mean, everyone thinks that Frodo's gone when he throws that knife and throws the ring into the fire. There's all the fire and that erupts around him. He did what he needed to do, but Frodo held on. And I feel like it's the same thing. I'm getting emotional thinking about Xadon, y'all. Sorry. It's like the same thing with Xadon. I think that he would want to take on this burden by himself. He wouldn't want her hurt. Mm-hmm. Also would never just lay down and die. He would never do it if for no other reason that he needs to come home to her. That's so dramatic, y'all. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional.
No,
don't be.
We literally analyze characters like for our podcast. So like this is why we wanted you back, because like this is the point of you analyze your characters far deeper than a lot of people that I know who are actors. I greatly appreciate that. Everything that you're saying makes sense. From a literary standpoint, I would like to throw in a theory that Amy and I have. A writer doesn't mention something more than once without it being important, right? And an example of that is several times throughout Onyx Storm, marriage is brought up. Mm-hmm. So when they got married at the end, there was no surprise for me, because I was like, well, they're going to get married because she brought it up more than once. Another thing that happened more than once is Riddick making Violet promise if he goes past a line, that is the line you will turn on him. Like you'll agree to go after him. So again, a writer doesn't do that if it's not going to be a plot point later. So I think that our opinion is that he will cross a line at one point in the next book, and that is where Violet will have to challenge it. We're rooting for him to kill Mira, Violet's sister.
I did not.
That was your idea. You said I just edited the episode. You're like, I'd like him to kill the sister.
Oh my gosh. Did I really say that?
Yes, you did.
I blanked out. I blacked out.
So just from a writing lens, like, from a literary analysis lens, which is what we do, it's like authors don't do that without it coming to some kind of fruition. So I'm like, answer to Xadon's crimes that hasn't happened yet, please. No, but.
So I think that goes back to what, in my mind, it goes back to what Gabriel was saying earlier, whereas Xadon's too powerful to be controlled. And I think for me, it comes down to if he does cross the line, it's about his redemption, right? Yeah. Like if this is the case, Rebecca is setting Xadon up for a redemption arc. Mm-hmm. Which I'm all about, like, getting a good redemption arc. And I think
2 more books to go, so we got plenty of time for redemption.
Yeah, because, I think at the core of it, he's always going to be about Violet. He's always going to be about getting back to Violet. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to go through this journey where he has to get Violet and us to forgive him.
Yeah, while I'm so protective over Xadon, I love conflict. I need it.
Yeah.
I need it as a listener, as a reader, as an actor. I need the conflict. And if you're going to tease someone going over to the dark side, I do need a bit of, I need you to go over to the dark side. Yeah. I need you to do that. And I feel like something that Xadon is ruthless. Like he loves Violet, but he's ruthless. And I feel like if it came down to him or any other person, no matter how much Violet would care about said person, Xadon would make the decision to get rid of them if he had to, if it was to save her. Yeah. Without thinking. He has a reason. I think it would be because he has a reason. Like there's so many different things that could happen. I agree. Okay, I have a theory. A good friend of mine, Maya, sent me a fan theory that someone had about Bodhi potentially masquerading as Xadon. Like pretending to be Xadon for some purposes. I wish I could find the exact theory because it was like way more in depth than what I'm saying, but I liked it.
Some of these theories out there are just, I'm like, at this point, Rebecca, you don't have to write anything. Just pick up these theories.
Well, I think, when you talk about it, about clues, that things are important. I think a good clue was that woman that was like Jane Atos when she was talking and it was Xadon. It was the idea, they're bringing marriage like into this Game of Thronesy type of world. Mm-hmm. But when I think about that, I think of like I don't know, like I really want a like forced marriage subplot. Get me, but like I know we hate those.
Fake dating. No, I love that shit.
Yes, I love a fake dating. I love a fake marriage. I love but I'm like, she asked me, she goes, okay, so if this theory is true, like, what would you want? And I was like, this is crazy. I'd be upset. And then I was like, but low key, I need Xadon then fighting over this other person who's just like forced married.
Yeah.
I need this. I need that. What we haven't played with yet, or we have played with it, but we could do more is we have the Venin, we have that whole dark plot. But also there is the political, there are big bads and then there's many big bads in these types of things. There's the White Walkers, the Venin, right? But then you have Cersei Lannister, you have the political ethos of it all. And I want to see more political drama, more political intrigue. That has stakes to it. We often come across, these characters in this series from faraway lands, and there's stakes there. But I feel like, there's that gruesome battle when they were ignore me. But I really I want more political intrigue. I want people pretending, especially if there is a brother out somewhere. Like, can someone pretend to be Xadon dressed up? Like, I need to know.
Well, the political side has to happen more, again, coming from the writer perspective, because you can't have a fourth book doing the same thing of epic battle. And there's still going to be an epic battle, but the characters were so on the move in this third book that there has to be some kind of stabilizing force in the next one. So I agree. I think that the political aspect is going to be big because we can't afford as many epic battles as there has been. And, Violet has to kind of like figure out why she chose to let her memories go. And now she's in charge of people, and Violet being in charge of an entire, not kingdom, but like territory is going to look really different than Xadon being in charge of an entire territory.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm thinking of other things. Like, I'm so excited. Like, there's so much I could say on the fan theory side of things, but I try to keep it.
Do we have another episode with you just dedicated to fan theories?
We really could, because
we could.
So many fans actually, I have my own theories, but a lot of fans reach out wanting to know or just share their theories with me. This is the first series I've ever, in my entire life, that I've ever tried to. Side note, there was a series of unfortunate events. I was like, what does VFD mean? But other than that, this was the first time I've ever really wanted to, figure out the mysteries of it all. Rebecca Yarros has really built just such a vast world. And I want book 4. I do think we need trauma in book 4. Real trauma, not just like
Mira died.
Yes. And I need Xadon. Okay. That person who said I sounded like Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, if Xadon is like bad boy, get ready, because Seto Kaiba's coming out. Like to a certain extent.
Yes.
Like I want those one-liners. Those, like, as the actor, I can tell you what I miss doing. I miss more pointed dialogue towards other characters. That happens in this book, don't get me wrong. But there are certain things ways he would never speak to Violet now. I want him to.
I agree.
Right. I want, if this is Sailor Moon, I want it like when Darien was like possessed by Queen Beryl and he was like evil force. You know what I mean? In that black armor. That's what I also need. I need some
oh my God, you're
armor.
making my worlds crossover and I need this so bad. I need Xadon to be Dark Darien.
I need it. And the armor and everything.
Yeah.
Because the royalty of it all, I do love that it's so passe for Xadon. I love that. But for me, I'm like, okay, but I need you to be a king.
I know, but what if you were king? What if you took over?
What are we doing, girl? And she's just like, yeah, she's so passe about it too. I love that the two leads are like, you're kind of royalty. You could kind of have it all if the fates aligned. And they're like, yeah, it's like, whatever. But I'm like, okay, but can we at least get him in some black, dark armor? I need full on
we're in battle leathers, sure, but I want the armor different, don't give me Rider leathers. I want Sailor Moon, so that you don't understand. Sailor Moon
I want the male. What I want? I want Snow White and the Huntsman with the queen.
Yeah.
It's the male version.
I want him to have an axe. Why does Xadon have an axe? I don't know, but I want him to have it.
Like a battle axe, a really good, nasty battle axe that he a retractable one. That's what he needs.
Yeah, retractable battle axe.
Whatcha? That. I really need that. I'm such a nerd. That's what I think of. I promise you, when I'm in the booth, the things that I'm thinking about are just so not just what's on the page. Yeah. I really try to bring an entire existence into being with my performance because I see it so clearly in my head.
You do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate it. I will 100% be DMing you again, be like, hey, so want to keep talking theories, but you are amazing as you were then, even more amazing now. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jac. Thank you, Amy. This has just been This has been incredible. I would love to do it again. I never get tired of coming onto podcasts to talk about this series and to just talk about my work as a voice actor. I do want to say, I want to do my due diligence. We're on strike for video games right now in the voiceover world because we're really trying to make it so this job that we have doesn't get completely replaced by robots.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff like this is what's going to keep that happening. There's a trickle-down effect. When real people come together and they share their love of these stories, it bleeds into that microphone and it makes it such an irreplaceable experience. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
And Amy, you were about to say something?
Just that we're not only excited for Onyx Storm, but everything else that you get to do after that. And we just love watching people's careers when we get to know them early on in the process. So we just can't wait to see what else you do.
And please tell us, everyone, where to find you, where we can support, the strike as well. And, also where can they find your socials?
Okay, well, I'm definitely an Instagram dude. And that is Gabriel_Michael. Michael is Michal. Gabriel _M Michael. I'm pretty responsive on there. I will say, within the past year, the socials have really started jumping because of Xadon. So before, it was very easy to respond to like the one or two people in my inboxes. It's a little bit more now, but I run my own account. Nice. I have my assistant. She handles other things, like maybe responses on some of my cameos here or there. But that is me on my Instagram. If you want to go ahead, if you want to work with me, you would like do business with me, if you will. My email is Gabriel Michael. Michael is Michael on that email, gabrielmichael.soundstudio@gmail.com, and let's connect. I'm super friendly, and I really, really want to ride this roller coaster of the Empyrean series with the fans. It makes the journey so much more fun.
So true. Everyone, go follow if you don't already. If you or work with him, work with you. That's whatever it is. But thank you so much, and can't wait for more of this journey to happen.
There is one, we can include this in, if it's not in the segment, it's okay. But I want to plug a book that is coming out for graphic audio that I love.
Please do.
Yeah,
please do.
absolutely.
The book is called Pestilence, The Four Horsemen.
Pestilence. Yeah.
Yes, by Lorthar Lassa.
Yeah.
Okay, so I may or may not play Pestilence, and I'm very, very excited for this performance. I do a lot of graphic titles, and I love them all. But this one, the director was the first time I worked with the director, Drew. It was just incredible. I'm doing an RP kind of dialect, and I really love this. I mean, some romances really just burn in the most perfect way, and this one really does. And Jessica Threet is in the lead position as the lead female for this book one. So please take a listen.
100%.
So
I do love that book. I do love it. So thank you. We'll definitely check out that book. I'm so excited. I really do love Pestilence. And the whole Four Horsemen. I can't speak. I don't know. I have a podcast, but again, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you in person. Can't wait to see you again here. So thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this special episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jac and Amy. Stick around next week where we will discuss We Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform. We would also love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com for a chance to have your feedback discussed during a future mini episode or a Patreon exclusive episode. If you're enjoying the podcast, please visit our website booktalkforbooktalk.com to view our latest merch and learn about supporting the show through Patreon or Venmo. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at the handle Booktalk for Book Talk. Bye.
As most people can guess, commuting in LA sucks. And so I've started taking the train. And the best thing about that is I get to read my romance books on the go.
And if you're like me and you're not commuting, you like to stay up till 2 a.m. reading Galatea, trying to get one more chapter.
Galatea is a reading app where anyone craving a little me time can dive into a library of romance stories that leave you feeling recharged and fulfilled.
There are over 1,000 bestsellers to choose from, and if you can't figure out what you want, they have Shifter Romance, Bad Boy Billionaire, Forbidden Love, Werewolf Alpha, Slow Burn Fantasy, Teen Drama, and so much more.
Galatea is home to original series and standalone stories with an exclusive catalog of best-selling authors, with new chapters dropping daily, so there is always something new to explore.
Don't worry, you're not going to be alone. Over 30 million people have fallen in love with reading on Galatea. Join now to indulge in stories that make you feel like yourself again.
Right now, Galatea is offering our listeners an extra 25% off on top of an already irresistibly affordable subscription when you go to galatea.com/booktalk.
That's GALATEA.com/BOOKTALK to indulge in unlimited stories for even less.
That's galatea.com/booktalk.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.